Hey there, Nopenguin here, and Colossus is back! Now, I already posted a video of how to use Colossus in Penguins, but that video really stirred up a lot of my creative juices, and gave me an opportunity to look back at some deck concepts I had previously forgotten. One of which involved a deck that's near and dear to my heart, Watts. Now, back when Watt Train was first announced, I had tried to build a Watt Thunder Dragon type deck during that period, but it really just never came together. And for the longest time, that video was scrapped. That is, until we have recently gotten back Colossus. Not only that, we also have gotten a lot more Watt support. And I soon found out, the best way to do this concept isn't by pairing Watts with Thunder Dragons, it's by pairing them with Sprites. Now come with me as I show you the power of what? Spright. And here is the list. Yes, after several days of testing, tweaking, and really just playing around with the deck, I have come together to bring the ultimate Watt Spright list featuring Colossus. For those unaware, Watts are a thunder-based archetype that deal with attacking your opponent directly to get certain effects and bits of advantage off from all the way back to the early Synchro era. Over the last couple years, they've gotten a couple of amazing bits of support that I think I can use to be able to make the strongest Watt deck possible with Colossus. And what's made this possible is a couple of TCG support cards. Cards that we'll go into detail with the card by card. Starting us off is our Watt engine. We are actually playing a pretty small level 4 engine. Typically you'd want to play triple Cobra, triple Tuna, maybe one or two Giraffes, but I've actually gone ahead and lowered this to the absolute minimum. That's because this is a Sprite-based list, so monsters that aren't level 2s are really not that great for opening with, but Watt Cobra basically gets us into our entire package, so I figure it's good enough to have at least a couple of these. So Watt Cobra lets itself attack directly and adds a Watt monster on and inflicting damage. Watt Giraffe stops your opponent from activating further effects that turn, and Watt Tuna is what we typically search off of the Cobra. It has not only an effect that special summons itself from the hand if you inflict damage, but it has an effect that if it inflicts damage, you can then quick synchro, or in this case really special summon, into one of your Watt synchros. Specifically, you want to go into Taurus. Now, I'll explain more about Taurus later, but this little advantage of just attacking with Cobra, going into Watt Tuna, going into Taurus, and then from Taurus you can go into Chimera, it's just such a lot of damage off of a single normal summon, and is a tight little package to just push for a bit more advantage, push ever so closer to game, and really just as a good going second play. We are playing triple Watt Beta and a single Watt Dragonfly. Watt Beta does not allow itself to attack directly, but if it does attack directly, your opponent discards a card from their hand, which is a really strong effect. And Watt Dragonfly will special summon any Watt if it's sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card. And these cards being level 2 is so good for so many reasons that I'll get into a bit more later, but at the base of it, these are level 2, so any normal summon of these will turn on our Spright engine and allow us to continue those plays. Speaking of which, the Spright engine, we got triple jet, triple blue, one red, and a carrot. This is a pretty typical Spright lineup. I just want to be able to special some of these out, continue my advantage, search cards, you know the drill, you've seen Sprites. New to the party is Nemesis Flag. This is a card you've probably seen a lot more often recently, but for those of you who don't know, this is a level 2 pyro monster that with the effect during the main phase, lets us search out any other Nemesis card from our deck to our hand, and also has the effect that it can special summon itself by shuffling a banished monster into the deck. And what is a search? Why else but Nemesis Corridor. This is the card that everyone is using to get into Colossus because it is literally everything you could ever want. Target one of your banished monsters, shuffle it into the deck, and special it from hand. Now, this not only gets us a Thunder on the field, but it activates in the hand, so it is the condition for Thunder Dragon to just tribute it to special summon it out. It is such a strong card, and makes it so easy to get into Colossus with this. Triple Ash Blossom, because Ash Blossom. And onto our spells. First is my favorite spell, Watt Train. This card reads that you can add Watt cards with different names from your deck to your hand up to the number of thunder monsters you control with different names. Now, in this deck, that is insane. Because let's say, for example, you normal summon a Watt Beta, then from there you special summon Spright Blue, search out Jet, special summon Jet, get started, special summon Red or Carrot. That's already 4 separate cards on your field with different names, and all of them are Thunders. So this turns into essentially a +3 off of that. And that is something that can happen very consistently. Not only that, it has a second effect that, except the turn it was sent to the graveyard, you could banish it from the graveyard to special summon as many Watts from your hand to your field. And notice it says Watt cards. That means we can also search our spell traps, including Watt Castle. This is another card that is played at 3 in a typical Watt build, but in here I think at 1 is just perfect enough because it is searchable off of Watt Train, and in most cases we typically have a lot of sprites and non-Watt monsters on the field to start our plays. This card states that your opponent cannot activate the effects of a monster that was normal or special summoned in the same column of a Watt monster you control. But the important part here is I can target a Watt monster I control, special summon any other Watt with a different name from my deck, and then take life points equal to the monster's attack. Considering all the Watts have very low life points, that's not a big issue. And considering that just getting into Cobra is full combo in the Watt sense, that is perfect. So you could literally just have a Dragonfly out, target it with Kingdom, get out Cobra, Cobra, get out Tuna, Tuna, go into Synchro, and continue your plays from there. It is amazing. However, if you use this effect, you cannot special summon for the rest of the turn except for Thunder monsters, which in most cases is perfectly fine. Triple Pot of Prosperity to find the pieces we need, and the Spright package. We have triple starter, 1 Gamma Burst, and 1 Smashers. And the final spell is a Watt spell, but not an intended Watt spell. This is Watt Psychic Fighting Porter, a TCG exclusive card. It reads that I can special summon up to 2 level 3 or lower light monsters from my hand, and if I special summon 2 monsters with the same type, those monsters can attack directly, and if they have the same original level, they also cannot be destroyed by battle this turn. This card is insane, because using the scenario from before where we have 4 Thunder monsters on the field, hell, we don't even need that. Let's say we only have 3 Thunder monsters on the field. That means we can search out a Watt Beta, a Watt Dragonfly, and the Watt Psychic Fighting Porter, which means we get 2 more level 2s from the deck. And because this states that the monster summoned can attack directly, that means that Watt Beta's discard effect becomes an actual threat. Also, this card is a quick play spell, which means you can actually set this on your turn, and during your opponent's turn, activate this card, special summoning 2 of our Watt monsters from our hand, and that turn they're going to be undestroyable by battle, so it's also a great defensive option. Finally, we have triple Infib and 1 Watt Cancel. This is a counter trap that can negate a normal or special summon by discarding a Watt monster, which is very easy to set up with Watt Train. Onto the extra, we have the boy himself, Colossus, and then our Synchros. This is Watt Taurus. This card is special summoned off of the effect of the Watt Tuna by banishing itself and the Cobra that searches it out, and like those two, this can attack directly. When it inflicts damage, you can shuffle this or any other non-tuner Thunder you control and the Watt Tuna from your graveyard into the deck to special summon any other Watt Synchro in your extra deck, in this case, Chimera. Chimera also attacks directly and is a soft Yada lock. Essentially, when it inflicts damage, your opponent takes one of the cards in their hand and puts it onto the top of their deck, essentially making their next draw useless. Onto our Xyz, we have Double Azus and Downard, Double Gigantic Spright, 1 number 65, 1 Onibimaru, 1 number 2. As for the links, we are playing SP Little Knight, both Hita and Dark, and also a TCG exclusive Haggard Lizard Dose. This is a card I assume most of you have not seen. It requires 2 monsters with different names, and it has the effect that you can banish a monster from your face up or the graveyard with less than 2000 attack to target another monster on the field and make that attack equal the attack of the banished monster. Now, why am I playing this? Well, this is how we set up the banish zone for our Nightmare Corridor play. For example, let me say we normal summon our Nemesis flag and search out the corridor, and then get out literally any one of our sprites from there. Even with just those 2 cards, we can go ahead and link 2 into the Haggard Lizardos. We can go ahead and banish the Nemesis flag, changing its own attack points. And then we have a card in the banish zone for Nemesis Corridor to special summon itself off of from. I am so glad I found this card. It made everything fit so beautifully. And finally, IP Masquerena. Now in the side deck, you just see a bunch of cards I was also fiddling with playing in the deck. As you can see, we are actually not playing Sprint at all. There is no reason for us to want anything in the graveyard in this deck. But that's enough of the deck list. Let me show you how this deck plays in the replays. Our first replay is up against Runic. I get to go first. I'm going to go ahead and Prosperity here for 6. Really, I'm just looking for any level 2 I can normal summon. And we find right off the top, which is good enough because it's not only a level 2, it's a bit of protection. We're going to special summon Blue. Blue's going to grab our Jet. Jet's going to special summon, go ahead and grab our Spright starter. We're going to actually start her here to go ahead into our Carrot. From here, we have Watch Train getting 4 cards from the deck, which is amazing. Then we're going to go into Gigantic Spright. Gigantic Spright's going to grab the Flag. Flag is going to grab Corridor for the follow-up play, and then we're going to go into IP, use our Watt Second to summon both of our tuners here, and we're going to set to and pass, including that Watt Cancel we have in our hand. They are going to Super Poly, unfortunately, get a Garuda out. They're going to activate Fountain. I'm going to IP to go to SP. They're going to Flashing Fire. I will Smash her, stopping that Flashing Fire from resolving and also getting rid of the Fountain. They're actually just going to set 1 and pass. Things are looking up really good for me, because from here I can Nemesis Corridor, bring back the IP. They're going to go ahead and special summon Hugin, knowing I'm going to get into the Colossus right away. Hugin's going to go ahead and search it. They're really hoping off the top of their deck. I'm going to Colossus, Watt for a couple more cards. Then we're going to go into IP, and with the Watt from last turn, I can then special summon 3 Watts from the hand. Wall Kingdom here will then allow me to get a 4th one from the deck, and we just go into battle. I'm going to start with Cobra, grab a card from our deck, our Watt Beta, go draft next. We probably should have done this first to stop them from activating anything. Another Cobra, another Beta, and the Watt Tuna will attack here, allowing us to start our Synchro plays. We're going to go into the Watt Taurus effect attack, then we're going to go ahead and quick Synchro into the Watt Chimera, and this is going to seal the game because we are going to top deck that Fountain, meaning they have no way out of this. Because of the draft, they do not draw off Garuda, they see that, and they concede. Our next replay is up against Cybers. Now, I let them go first because I really want to show what this deck does going second, and they're not going to do anything great. Honestly, I'm not sure what they were doing here, but they're just going to normal summon Chimera and pass? Either way, I'm going to go ahead and go into our Watt Cobra. Cobra's going to attack. We're going to go ahead and activate its effect. They let it go through. I grab the Tuna. Tuna's going to special summon itself. Tuna's going to attack directly. Then we're going to activate its effect using the Watt Cobra from hand to go into Tauros. Tauros is going to go ahead and special summon out our Chimera. Chimera's going to go ahead and put one of their cards back on the top of their deck. Then from here, we're going to go into our Thunder Dragon. Then we're going to go ahead into our Spright package. From here, we're going to go Jet. Jet's going to go ahead and allow us to go into blue. We're going to grab Smashers. Then we're going to also special summon out the red. We're going to Watt Train for 5 cards. We're going to go into IP Masquerena, into Carrot, into SP Little Knight, banishing a card they control. Then going for Watt Second to have a couple more materials, go into the Gigantic Spright, and special summoning out the Flag to special summon the Corridor that we really didn't even use to get into our Colossus. We'll set 2, which includes the Counter Trap, and pass. From here, they're just going to crash the Colossus. They see the game is lost, and they're just going to concede. I'll go into battle and allow us to attack directly. Now, really importantly here, we were able to get into the Colossus package off of the Watt package, because the Watt Tuna special summons itself from the hand. So that's something to keep in mind as well, that anytime we use our Watt package and we are not too locked, we do have access to Thunder Dragon in main phase 2. Keep that in mind. Our final replay is up against Volcanic Snake Guy. I get to go first. We are going to Nemesis Flag, grab our Corridor, special Blue. Blue's going to grab Jet. We're going to go ahead and special summon Jet. Go ahead and grab our starter, but we're actually going to go into the Hagrid. Hagrid's going to use the effect to banish the Flag. We're going to special summon Corridor, get out into the Colossus, and from here we can then go into our starter play, starter into red, go into Gigantic Spright. Gigantic Spright's going to grab ourselves a Carrot. Then we are going to Watt Trade for 4, grab 4 cards from the hand. We're going to go ahead and Watt Second just for a single card. We're going to set the Watt Kingdom, set the trap, and pass. From here, they are going to go ahead into Accelerator. I'm actually going to Carrot that, thinking that if they don't have that, they don't have it, but they had a second one. Oh well, they're going to go ahead and actually destroy, of all things, the Dragonfly, which actually allows me to summon out another Watt. Not sure why they chose that of all the cards. Then they're going to get the Blades Accelerator reload. I'm actually going to Watt cancel their normal summon, as I really don't want them getting anything off. But they have the Typhon that is going to go ahead and eat over one of our cards, and eat over our Thunder Dragon, and actually put it back into the extra deck, which is sort of important for later. From here, they're going to add a bunch of cards, set a card, and pass. From here, I'm feeling pretty good. I can Spright Jet. They're going to go ahead and reload to go ahead and grab another card. I get the Smashers. Smashers, I'm actually just going to get rid of this set card. I do not know what it is. Don't want to deal with it. Then I'm going to go into Hita. Hita's going to grab the Scatter Shot from the graveyard, which is a level 2, which gets us into the Gigantic Spright. From here, I'm going to summon out a Giraffe, we're going to go Giraffe, stop them from activating anything further, then we're going to go to Cobra. Cobra's going to go ahead and search out what else? The Tuna. Tuna's then going to let us go through, and we are basically just going to do the normal Watt plays. Go into the Taurus attack, we're going to go ahead and shuffle some more back. Going into the Chimera, Chimera's going to stunt one of their draws. Things are looking really good, but we're going to beat over their Typhoon, and then the main phase, I activate Gigantic Spright. I really should have Colossus here first, because now that we have Gigantic Spright, I have actually lost access to Colossus, and as you see, that's going to be fatal. Because they're going to go ahead and be able to dump a Runic, they're going to go ahead and grab another card off of Shell, and then we're going to Exploding Reload to go ahead and draw, oh my god, the D-Bell Star. They really wouldn't be able to have done that without the extra card, and everything's going to go to hell from here. They're going to go ahead and Snatch get Popular. Popular, so you know what's going on here. We're going to go ahead and actually grab the Field Spell, annoyingly. We're going to set the Flame Burst, then we're going to go ahead into actually the Possessed Deck Monster, burning me for a lot of damage, and then we're going to go ahead and set a bunch of cards to these scales. They're actually going to grab the Heater from the graveyard. They're going to Trooper here. Trooper's going to go ahead and grab themselves their Volcanic Boy. They're going to give me a token. They're going to go into their Volcanic Emperor and dome me for the rest of my life points. Once again, I do not think that would have happened had I just gone to Colossus before we Gigantic Spright. Fuck. And that was the deck. I am really happy with how this deck turned out. I think by stripping down the Watt package to just the essentials of what we need, and then really investing into the level 2 side of things, has really allowed these two archetypes to mesh beautifully. And the star of the show, in my opinion, is Watt Train. Being able to search out 3, 4, or even 5 cards from the deck is unbeatably strong advantage. And the two TCG exclusives that we have here completely change how this deck was built. I don't think this would be possible without both of these cards available to us. But I want to hear what you think. What do you think about this deck? Honestly, I love this. I think this deck is a lot of fun, and I think if you have access to a Spright engine, I highly recommend you try this variant of the deck. You will not be disappointed. But that is the end of the video. So as always, like if you like, subscribe if you want to see more. I am Nopenguin, Colossus Defender, signing out.